Awesome, awesome. Well, welcome, guys. We are back here on our team call that we do every Tuesday at the same bat time on the same bat channel. Except tonight, we're on Randy Zoom. I'm excited to have him on here with us tonight, guys. Tonight's a special night, guys, just to even have, Randy here with us. Um, if you're just joining us, if you don't mind, mute your line for us. Thank you.
This is the one
Um,
that you would put on
there, there we go. Appreciate you
a
muting the
little
line
bit
for us.
on the dark spots underneath your eyes before you put this right here
Yeah,
on.
we gotta
Okay?
mute
And if
these
you have
people out. There we go. Man, thank you, Randy. Appreciate that. It's always seems like people come on here, they start talking. I be like, what y'all doing? But anyway, guys, welcome to our team call. Again, I'm excited to see you guys on here tonight. And tonight's a very special night because of who we have with us tonight. We're going to be deep diving into a few things, but for those of you that are here right now, I just got to bring on a few people that is doing amazing with us. I mean, this company's be a month old tomorrow. I'm assuming it'll be a month tomorrow or Thursday or something like that. And I'm just excited for what this team is doing right now. So, with that being said, guys, I'm going to bring on just a few guests to share 2, maybe 3 minutes max of just what made them join LevAI. How have they been utilizing the tools? Like, what have they found most exciting so far about LevAI? And I'm just excited to hear from them. So I'm gonna start with Miss Ariel Vibes. So Ariel Vibes, go ahead and unmute your line for me, please, real quick. There you go. How are you?
Hey, how's it going? I'm doing great. I am loving this software. It's so easy to use, and I can't
Well,
believe it. Like, real lead generation. I am not kidding you. It is so cool. It is time to get ahead and not get left behind. We got to do this. I am so excited. And yes, I'm utilizing the tools. I'm having fun with it too.
well, but Ariel, I forgot what city are you in again? I know Dwayne brought you in, but what city are you in?
Plantation, Florida.
Plantation, Florida. I think Randy was just not too far. He was close to in Tampa or something these past couple of days, for what I remember. So Ariel, like what? So when Dwayne shared this with you, like what were you thinking? Was you like, hey, I'm already in? You ain't got to say nothing else. You said AI, I'm in here, or did he show you something and you was like, yo, I got to get on this train? What happened?
So for a year straight, I denied AI. But the thing is, what I've realized is I'm just making my life harder. And instead of making my life harder and utilizing tools and resources that are going to be able to help me grow and expand my business and expand my brand and my ideas, it just makes sense to be able to have some help with it. Because you know what? Burnout is real. I was a content creator for 10 years solid, creating fresh content. And let me tell you, it's time consuming, it's exhausting. And now I don't even have to think about that.
That's strong.
I
That's
can
strong.
personalize my message so I can add uniqueness and add my personality to it, but it makes my life so much easier. Instead of having to, you could bulk work what you're doing and you can get work done for social media for a month at a time. Do it ahead because this is the planning, this is the execution, this is the acceleration is amazing. I've been playing around with the software and I'm blown away. It
Man,
does
that is
so
awesome.
much.
Man,
Yeah.
and just to think, man, this is only $99. That's what really gets me is the fact the cost of all of this is $99. And I think that's where our cutting edge is going to come into play with what's going to be comparable to a lot of other things out here is our price point, So that's what I'm most excited about. Man, thank you so much, Ariel, for coming on,
Thank you.
bringing your
I
good energy,
appreciate you
good
inviting
vibes.
me.
Oh man, you're right on the vibes. You know the vibes, man. Thank you so
That's
much.
right. Thank you.
All right. I think I'm gonna stay here in Florida. About to bring on a young lady by the name of Miss Zena Edge Hill. I mean Edge Hill. Hope I'm saying the last name right, Zena. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Miss Zena. There you go. Did I say
yes,
hey, did I say your last name right?
Yes, edge hill, like the edge of the hill.
Okay, let's make it short. Make it short. So Zena, you're in Florida, right?
No, I am in Maryland.
But you was in Florida.
Yeah, well, my grandbaby's in Florida.
I know so. I know something about you was in
Yes,
Florida.
and my
I knew I
son,
wasn't
yeah.
tripping. I knew I was not tripping. But
Right.
listen, so I know you was brought in. When we first pre-launched, like, tell me
Mhm.
what when you first heard about this. What did you see that made you be like, man, I'm with this company. I'm gonna run with this. I've been in the industry for a while.
Mhm.
What did you see to make you be like, I'm ready to run with this?
Well, wow. Well, my main thing was I was looking for an AI platform because of course, like most of us entrepreneurs, we have so many different businesses, and you trying to constantly promote all on social media, and then you getting a AI you know a AI system here and an AI system there. What I like about LevAI is that it's all a package all in one. So you would have to get at least 5 to 6 different types of AI systems that are out there, or tools, whatever you want to call it, to add up to what LevAI does. So you said it earlier, for $99 a month, why would you not do Lev AI? Get it all in a package. This is like a one-stop shop for AI. That's how I see it. And the sky is the limit, really, and they still perfecting it. Where else can you go to build your website, get your own avatar? And you don't need, if you don't want to use yourself, you can use other pictures that are there and use it as the avatar. Let your avatar know who you are. Let them get to know you, hear your voice. You can use your own voice, or you can just let them know what your business is about and they'll speak on your behalf. So the sky is the limit here. You can use this even as a marketing. You don't have a business, you got a business now if you would Eleve AI.
Absolutely. And Zena, how big is your team now? So I mean, from beginning to now, like total, like where are you at? How many people?
Like 250 or 60 something people on my team.
Man, that
Yeah.
is amazing. That is awesome, man. And you
Yeah.
got people in different countries.
Yeah.
What countries are you in?
I do have Africa. I have what do you call it? The Philippines. I have also Egypt, India,
Mm-hmm.
UK. So I
Mm-hmm.
have it, all around so far. And that's what's the beauty of it. You don't have to stay in one place. You don't have to stay in the United States. It's global.
Yeah, that was one of the things, for me when I heard we was going to be going global, because there's not too many companies. And
Nope.
I've been in quite a few companies. Well, this is like my seventh or eighth company, and no company I've been in has been in 100 plus countries.
Exactly.
It just hasn't. This is my first time being global. So
Yeah,
but yeah, man, thank you so much, Ms. Zena, for coming on tonight,
absolutely.
sharing that with us, man. I know you're gonna blow this thing out the water, so
Yeah.
I'm excited for you, man. Super
You
excited
you
for you.
cannot stop but sharing it and
Oh no,
telling
you can't.
everyone.
I know,
All
right?
right. Thanks for
Absolutely,
having me.
absolutely, man, guys. Okay, so I had a couple of other guests. I don't know if he's on. Let me see if Ricky's here or Ivory. Neither one of them is okay. He's not here, so we're gonna move forward. But listen, guys. Earlier today, I did a three-way call with Randy, right? And for those of you who don't know who Randy is, let me tell you guys something, man. Like, he was the first person that I reached out to once I heard a call. Randy, he put the first presentation I heard, Randy put his phone number out. I wrote his number down. I text him as soon as this call was over. I text him. We got on the phone that night. And when I tell you, man, Randy, just to know, because I never heard of Randy. I just being honest, I never heard of him, never seen him, but his energy and his knowledge, I was just curious, like, man, what have you done? Like, what's your resume like? And when he told me that he has been in 4 companies and has made at least $10 million in each of them, at minimum, at least 10 million in 4 different companies. Man, my antennas was just like, man, I just now I have found somebody that knows the game, knows comp plans. And I said, you know what? If this guy, Randy Schroeder, is over here in this company, it has to be something to it. So we've been talking. He's been sharing so much with me that anytime he shares, anytime he does a training, I am on it. Every single one of them he does. And if I happen to miss it because I have something planned, I go and rewatch it as soon as I get back. Like I don't miss a Randy call. I don't miss it. I don't care. Randy's delivery. Some people may be like, man, he talking over our head. I'm like, no, he's talking where his wealth is, like his knowledge, his mind. He's coming from that point of view. Sometimes you have to listen to something over and over again to actually let it digest in you. But luckily, man, I relate to him. I like his delivery. I like his energy. I like his leadership. And we did a call today with a guy out here in Georgia, big guy, real nice guy. Man, he has a huge network. And what he had been begging me to talk to Randy because he already talked to Larry, guys. This guy had already talked to Larry. They had a good conversation. So he told me he messaged Randy and wasn't able to get through to Randy. I said, you know what? Let me see if I can get him. Talk to Randy. And Randy, he is so busy. I mean, he has people pulling at him left and right. So Randy was like, first night Randy was at dinner. I said, cool. Next time, Randy said, give me 30 minutes. Finally got the guy on the phone, right? And this guy, now I'm gonna want y'all to understand something. I'm preface this call. Mind you, I never met this guy, Sean. Sean came through one of my personal. Okay. So me and him, we talked a couple of times, and he is a wealth of knowledge to me. Very smart guy. He makes a ton of money. Again, network huge. So, he had did his research all on LevAI. I mean, he's coming at Randy about what he's seeing online on behind MLM. Oh, did you see this on Google? Oh, did you see this on that? And I'm on the call like, I'm just like, bro, what does this got to do with anything? I can tell you right now, if you want to find something negative about any company, indirect sales, I guarantee you, I promise you, you're going to find it. I don't care what company it is, new, old, I don't care. If you want to find something negative, you most definitely will find it. 1,000,000%. Okay. So one thing, this guy knew about AI. He knew all about AI. And this is what got me. Randy said this very politely. Randy simply said, you know what? You're just not our target market. And I'm on mute like because it's like, okay, Randy said, look, you're in that 10% of people that know all about the AI, and that's cool, but you're just not our target market. We're going after the 90% of people that don't know what you know, that don't have the resources that you have. There's 90% of people that need what we have. There's not going to be doing all this deep diving into a 3-week-old company. Like, bro, what kind of reviews you think you're going to get about a company that's 3 weeks old? Okay. So, and I'm going to say this before I bring Randy on. About an hour ago, I spoke to Blake, Randy's son, and I had a question for him because me and Randy he gonna talk about this. I said, Blake, I'm gonna tell y'all exactly what I asked Blake because where'd it go? Oh, okay, here it is. Hey, Blake, good evening. Question: is LevAI, in your opinion, a company a big leader should come look at in terms of making significant income? I'm asking because there is no bonuses if one hits a rank or anything. It's like no incentives. So what would be attractive about us in terms of making huge income? Your personal opinion, Blake, not your professional one. He laughs. Hey, Rodney, thanks for sending the questions. I think there are a lot of incentives. This comp plan will pay out more than any other plan I've been a part of. You are right. It's less about a rank advance bonus. It's about customer acquisition. Our plan pays out 50% on every enrollment. That's way more than most plans. Our plan pays residuals as much higher rate in personally enrolled than any other plan I've seen. And if you get people to replicate, there is a lot of money to be earned on the check match. And I said, well, Blake, of course, it's more, but it's only $99. So it's kind of like, it's low. And then he said, if you get people to replicate, I said, true. But one has to rank advance to get the check match, right? He says, you get paid more levels in check match depending on your rank. So to get 4 full levels of check match, we're talking about four full levels of check match, you need to advance through the ranks. He said, by the way, in most comp plans, higher rank unlocks more pay. So he said, if you learn the plan, it will pay you. And that's what me and Randy was talking about earlier. If you learn the comp plan, it will pay you. He said there's no reason why we should not have people earning $100,000 a month with this plan design for those that really get after it. Okay. So that brings me to bring on Randy. So, Randy, with what I just said, what we talked about earlier, I need you to be very frank, as you always have been. You've always been transparent. You've always been 1,000 with me and anybody I put you on the phone with. Talk about that. Talk about your overall view of everything from a point of income, from a point of vision, and for a new business. Where do you see this? Like, give it to us.
I will do that. First, I'm going to ask a favor. Chantel, I've not met you, but Chantel was listening in to the presentation I did earlier today. I think I saw her picture there. Chantel, are you able to turn on your video and your microphone? I would like to just have a little conversation with you about the presentation you sat in on. Are you there and able to do that? Yes, no?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you turn your video on so I can see your face or no?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find my camera. Okay, there we go.
There we go. It's so much easier to talk to a person than it is to a blank screen. So Chantel, you were on that presentation earlier today, were you not? I think I saw your icon there. Yes.
Yes, I was there.
Okay. And were the things that you heard me describing different than what you have been doing when you introduced someone to LevAI, or were they the same? I don't have any idea. But was what you heard me describe different than what you've been describing?
No, it was similar.
It was similar. Okay. So, folks, let me describe to you the things, and maybe Ashley, I'm going to talk to you for a minute. I don't know you, don't know darn thing about you, Ashley. Turn on your mic for a second. Okay. Why did you say yes to LevAI? Why did you say yes?
Yes, so many reasons. Well, let's just start with when I saw the video that Rodney sent me. And first of all, I have confidence in Rodney that he's gonna be a part of something that's like epic, right?
Yes.
So I saw the video and I consider him like-minded, and I was like, wow, okay, August, I took my AI infrastructure certification with Oracle. And so when I saw the video and I saw what this does, I knew right away that it aligned with everything that I've already been doing since, well, back in 2003, they called it machine learning.
Right.
But let's fast forward to 2022. I've been using ChatGPT.
Right.
And so when I saw this, though, I said, okay, this makes sense because it, like she said, like the other lady said, it puts everything in one platform.
Right.
And there's so many differences for me, for my own improvement as a person, as well in business and personally, as well as it offers an opportunity to other people like the youth and things like that, because I have young daughters who are 19 and 16, all of their friends, they all need to learn about AI. They all need to learn how to start working with it. And like myself, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I want them to be the same way. I've had regular jobs too, and sometimes I even pick regular jobs back up, but I prefer flexibility with entrepreneurship. So this right here, it for example, objections. I'm not good at objections or following up per se. But with this
Okay.
platform, I recognize that when we get to upload a profile, it then tells you based on that person's profile what would be a good response to their objection. Like I had a person say, I'm not ready to invest right now. And I was like, oh, okay, what do I say back to that? And like you said before, I wanted to change the response that it gave me. I wanted to so bad. I literally started to type things in because I know what she's going through personally, but it's like the machine told me don't touch it.
Right.
And so I did have to let my ego down, and I just sent back exactly what it said because of her personality type that it had analyzed because of her profile. This is things that ChatGTP doesn't do for me.
Right.
Like it can give me life path numbers and things like that, but it doesn't do exactly what this does in like a KISS manner, which like keep it simple, stupid. I can't keep stuff simple. So this is helping me keep it way, way simple by just not only the websites, I've created like 15 websites in there, even redone the ones that I already have with other platforms.
Right.
Um, I'm sorry, I'm just super excited. Just stop me if I'm going too much.
No, that's perfect. Okay. And so I asked you why you said yes to this. And up until now, you've not said because you want to make money, but I'm betting that you do, right?
Oh yeah, I mean,
Okay.
you know what? I pay $20 a month for Chat GTP. However, I get none of that back, you know,
Right.
and
Okay.
I can't offer the opportunity to anybody else to also make money. And I'm all about that. I'm all about providing solutions for other people to be able to create wealth because I come from a nonprofit organization,
Right.
and so my what I've noticed is to get away from poverty or remain out of poverty, you have to focus on wealth.
Right.
So
So,
yeah.
okay. So, folks, for all of you, irrespective of what the reason is that you say you got involved with LevAI, you got involved because you wanted to make more money. That's why you got involved. Whether you wanted to make more money in your real estate business or make more money in your mortgage business, or whether you wanted to make money in LevAI, don't
Right.
misunderstand. Why did we all get involved? We all got involved to make more money. That's the common ground here for all of us, right? We all got involved to make more money. Now
Right.
you'll notice that I'm just allowing another person to enter the room right here. And the person that's entering the room, his name is Blake Schrader. He's the president of this company. I invited Blake to hop on here right now because I wanted each of you to know and understand the level of importance that we place in this group. I've only asked Blake to hop on 3 or 4, maybe not even, maybe 2 or 3 conversations like this since I started this process. I asked Blake to be here this evening to chime in on our comments because I wanted you folks to know that we place special importance on the success of this particular organization. And we place specific importance on the success of each of you individually. Now, I want to ask you all a question, and don't just answer it automatically. Think about it for a second. If I can show you specifically and exactly and absolutely without question how to make more money more quickly and to have the greatest possibility of sustained income for a long period of time, are you willing to do what I teach? Yes or no? So easy to say yes with your lips and so hard to say yes with your actions day after day after day, right? I mean, the easiest thing in the world is yes. The hardest thing is to have the behaviors that bear that out. And so I'm going to tell you some things that you might not want to hear that are required right now for you to start making more money more quickly. And it seems a little bit incongruent because this is a technology company. And technology, one of its designs is to require less and less from each of us for technology to take on more and more of the burden. I'm going to give you all a little bit of truth right now. You're going to have to be willing to get some saddle sores. You're going to have to be willing to do some things the old fashioned way in order to allow the leverage that is possible in artificial intelligence to take root. And so and each of you can answer this question for yourself. Are most of you having the experience that when you invite a person onto a Zoom, they gather the information they need to gather and they receive it with the right, whatever it takes for them to exit the Zoom and enroll 5 minutes thereafter and start the business the next day? Now, don't tell me yes, because I know better. That's not the truth. It is not the truth that most people that we invite to get on a Zoom presentation get the information they need to hear and act upon that information the next day. In fact, I would say that it's probably only 10 or 15% of people that are participating in a Zoom presentation in the next 24 hours after are engaged in our business. That's the truth. The numbers are the numbers and they don't lie. And so if we want to begin having the kind of experience that everyone wants to have, and when I say that, if you have a long runway, if there's no urgency for the generation of income, well, then there's no urgency in adopting the behaviors that I described. But if your runway is relatively shorter, you need to start generating some income within a specific period of time. You need to generate a certain amount of income within a certain period of time and have it retain at that level. Then what I always invite people to do is listen to what I say, but far more importantly, observe what I do. And if there's ever a gap between what I say and what I do, then you act upon what you see me doing, because that's where the truth lies, right? And I hope there's never a spread. I hope you never hear me say something and you see my behaviors that are contrary to that. But if it ever happens, then you have to believe what I do. Okay? And so what am I doing? Every day I get face to face with a candidate. Every day. There is not a day that I don't. Why do I do that? Because a candidate I get face to face with 100% of the time enrolls in that presentation. I've not had a conversation with someone face to face who did not enroll at the end of that presentation. I don't have to go home and call them and ask them what happened. I don't have to, nothing. They enroll at the presentation. And my next interaction is their new member orientation. And so stop and ask yourself a question. Are you having 100% or 90% or 80% of the people that you invite onto a Zoom who enroll that night? If you are, my advice to you is that you keep doing that. If you're not having that experience, then my advice to you is that you use the Zoom presentations. Remember, you've all heard me teaching the ladder of escalation. And I remind you all that what I teach you is that which I was taught. To the very best of my knowledge, I've never come up with a single unique idea in my life. I teach you what I was taught by somebody else. People are so kind. Rodney is so kind. He describes me as a leader. I'll tell you what I might be as the most effective follower you will ever encounter. I find people who are accomplishing what I want to accomplish, and I do what they do, and I do what they suggest to me that I do. And I don't look left, and I don't look right, and I don't look up, and I don't look down. I execute the promise. I execute the pattern of activities that put before me. And so if we go back to that ladder of escalation, I don't have a whiteboard here. What is the first rung on the ladder of escalation? It is to utilize a properly constructed script to let a tool talk. And so what do? I utilize a script crafted by LevAI, by artificial intelligence. I utilize a properly constructed script to let a tool talk. Now, the tool that I will very shortly allow to do the talking for me is my digital avatar. For right now, the loading is still going on. It's not available for me to use that way today. That, by the way, is not a reason to delay any action or business. If there was one single component of the entire tool suite that is the least important for the building of our business, it is the avatar. The avatar is cool, it's fun, it's trendy, it's neat. It's not necessary to succeed in our business. It's an attention grabber, but it doesn't grow your social media presence. It doesn't teach you what to say and what not to say. That's not the truth. I'm excited about its advent, but it's not what makes this company work. And it's not why this opportunity is what it is. It is the least important of all of the artificial intelligence components that we introduce in this company. That is my belief. And unless that's proven to be otherwise, that will continue to be belief. So in the ladder of escalation, I utilize a properly constructed script, an invitation to let a tool talk. And the tool that I let talk is that 90-second video that we can all find in the LevAI YouTube page. And there in 90 seconds, it describes the information. So I utilize a properly constructed script to let a tool talk. But you know what I do before that? 10 times every day, 10 times each morning. I use the CRM. I do a simple screenshot import. And when I do a screenshot import, now I learn more. Rodney, I can do a screenshot import of your social media profile, and I can know more about you than your mother-in-law knows, if you have one, or than your brother or sister knows. That's the truth. And then I make it fun. And so what is my properly constructed script? My properly constructed script is that I use the AI tool to tell me everything there is to know about that candidate. I mean, everything. How do I do it? By doing a screenshot import into the CRM. I push the button, and 90 seconds later, it tells me more things about them than they want me to know, in all probability. And then I make it fun. And what is my properly constructed script? You guys have heard me talking about it on the various sessions. And after a few days, there's about tipped over there. After a few days, this will probably lose its intrigue for me, but right now it's fun. There was a song in 1979 called Escape. And in that song, it's about a couple, married couple, and they've drifted apart. They've just drifted apart. And so the wife is looking around. And so she takes out a personal column and she describes the guy she's looking for. Says, do you like pina coladas? Do you like getting caught in the rain? Are you not into yoga? Do you have half a brain? Do you like making love at midnight? And her husband, she has no idea, but he's reading the personal columns because he's likewise disaffected. And he says, wow, that's my ideal gal. She likes pina coladas and getting caught in the rain. And they make a date. And they make a date to meet at a bar called O'Malley's. And when she walks in, he says, I knew your smile in an instant, and I knew the curve on your face. It was my own lovely lady that just walked into that place. See, he was married to her, and he didn't know her. When I do a screenshot import, so I don't know Chantel right now, but if I do a screenshot import, I will know more about you than you can imagine. And then my properly constructed script is, I'm reflecting upon a song called Escape from 1979. Chantel, I had no idea that you have a desire to retire in Portugal. Chantel, I did not know until now that your greatest interest is to do whatever it is. Now that I do know, I think I can help you. Why? Because I've become involved with AI. That's my properly constructed script. And then the tool is there, the 90-second video. That's the first rung on the ladder of escalation. That is what I do first. I don't invite them to a Zoom room first. I do that first, not approximately, but exactly what I just said. My next step is what? The next rung on the ladder of escalation. At the bottom of that invitation script, at the bottom of that text, I put, Chantel, you let me know if you'd like to continue this conversation. Remember, every single thing that we say or do is teaching someone else what to say or do. I just taught you you're not going to have to chase people. And I just told you I'm not going to chase you. If after you watch this video, you want to continue the conversation, you tell me. Because of the way that I do it, I utilize a properly constructed script. It's lighthearted. I didn't know you loved pina coladas. I mean, it's just kind of fun. It's easy. In my own case, I don't have to know the person at all. In fact, the odds of their responding is neither greater or less if I know the person. It's the same. The odds for me are about 85% of the time. 85% of the time that I utilize a properly constructed script to let a tool talk and then say, if you want to continue the conversation, they reply, they want to continue the conversation. As soon as that happens, it now becomes a 100% chance that I'm going to enroll that person. It's not 70, it's not 80. If they say, yes, I want to know more, it just became a 100% chance. Now, it might not be this week, it might not be this month, but if they say, yes, I want more information, they are going to enroll. That's just that's what happens. And so now the next rung on the ladder of escalation is, well, yeah, right, it sounds kind of cool, I want to know more. Well, I'd only shown them a 90-second video. And so now the next rung on the ladder of escalation is I send them a recording to one of the videos that we've done, because night after night we do presentations. And so it's a 20-minute long video. I send the video, please watch this video. That will then prepare you for our in-person conversation. And at that time, I'm now completely assumptive. Please watch the video. That will prepare you for our in-person conversation. And I then make an appointment. I set an appointment. And if they're geographically near me, and understand this, I'm about the most old-fashioned guy. It's not that I do things especially well. It's that I do a lot of things that the vast majority of people are simply not willing to do. And so today, I could certainly have invited the people. I drove 2.5 hours today one way and 2.5 hours back to meet with 5 people. I could have invited those 5 people into a Zoom. Why didn't I? Because at the very best, one would have enrolled and probably none would have enrolled. But instead, because I drove there, I was face to face with them, 5 enrolled. That's why I did it. I'd rather drive 5 hours and have 5 enrolled than I would sit in my house and have none enroll, because I chose to take the easy way out and do a Zoom. And so I drove there and I got 5 new enrollments. So step 1, rung 1 on the ladder of escalation, utilizing a properly constructed script to let a tool talk. Step 2, validating the idea by playing a recording of the message, so we're not starting from zero. Step number 3, I'm face to face with those people, and everybody enrolls. Everybody, not some of the people, everybody. Then the next rung on the ladder of escalation is their new member orientation. And I want you all to know that I have the deepest respect for Rodney. I'm completely committed to his success, and my commitment to Rodney's success extends to each one of you. When a person then They meet with me in person. Everybody enrolled today. Everybody. Tomorrow, I have their new member orientations. I would not expect, I would be quite surprised. And hi, Pam, good to see you. Hi, everybody. I would be quite surprised right now if I were to ask you, Pam, what is the 7th step in the 10 steps to getting started correctly? I would be stunned if you could tell me the answer. If I asked you, Chantel, what's step number 4? I would be shocked if you knew the answer. Please do not misunderstand. Do not misunderstand. You've not been subject to my teaching. You've not been in my organizations, but I will tell you the absolute truth. If you cannot tell me right now what is step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, if you cannot tell me the upside for proper execution and the downside for improper execution, don't be angry at me when I say it. You have not become eligible to make money in this company. It's the truth. And unless you do learn those things, you will remain ineligible to make money in this company. I mean, real money. You know, Rodney read his thing a second ago that you can make $100,000 a month. Well, you're not going to make $100,000 a month of this if you don't know and understand those things that I just described to you. That is simply the truth. Over the course of my career, when Rodney said that I've had 4 separate instances where I made $10 million for the company, absolute fact. In no case was it because of the product or the compensation plan. In every case, it was because of the process. And that's obvious, isn't it? Because I've had 4 separate experiences. What was the one thing that was constant? The process. Everything else was variable. It was a binary comp plan, or it was a unilevel comp plan, or it was a matrix comp plan, or it was a breakaway comp plan. It's been every different kind of a comp plan. It was a cholesterol reduction product, or it was a weight loss product. It was a pain product, or it was a cannabis, going down the line. The product has been different. The company has been different. The management has been different. The ownership has been different. What's been the same? The process has been the same.
Are you in the Hill Estate?
No, I don't have to get off yet. Do it. What time is it? Yeah, I know. I finally get off. And so what has been the consistent thing? It's been the process. The process has been worth $50 million in network marketing earnings to me. And you know what? Nobody ever calls me and asks me, what's the process? Nobody ever says that. That's a little bit of insanity in my estimation. I can show you specifically and exactly how to not have any question. None, 0. And now the difference is that we have a product offering that is not limited to, I mean, gosh, Pam, my very first network marketing company I was in sold skincare. Well, today, that was 35 years ago. Today, quite a few men use skincare. 35 years ago, if a man used skincare, he certainly didn't admit it. Right. And so I built the business in spite of the product, not because of it. You know, for the next decade, I made $26 million in a company that offered a cholesterol reduction product. I was 32 years old and I didn't have a cholesterol problem. Didn't have cholesterol. If I used the product, what happened for me? I got gas, stomach cramps, and diarrhea. That's what happened for me. And so when people ask me, Randy, how do you use the product? Well, I take a pinch of it and I throw it over my shoulder for luck. It's never for me until this moment been about the product. It's always been purely and simply and only about the process, never about the product, always about the process. This is the first time in my entire career that it is about the product first, the process second, and everything else secondary to that. Why does the product become first? Because for the first time in my career, I am not limited to that tiny percentage of people who have embraced the direct selling industry. And whenever I talk about my own results, please forgive me. It doesn't matter what I have accomplished. What matters is what can you accomplish and what can we accomplish together. But these are the absolute basic facts. I was taught 35 years ago a pattern of activities. And I now know that pattern of activities as well as I know anything, as well as I know anything. And for you gals that are moms, here's the way that I like to explain this. Imagine for a moment that think back to when your little boy or your little girl was 4 years old and you're at a birthday party and there's 30 parents inside and there's 30 kids outside and there's the cacophony, the loud, the loud, the loud. And suddenly your little boy or girl cries out in pain or fear. There's 30 kids out there and your little boy or girl cries out in pain or fear. You can't see them. Do you recognize your child's voice? You do. That's the way you have to know these 10 steps. You have to know it the way you know your child's laugh, her cry. That's how you have to know it. In fact, I believe that I could blindfold most moms and I could hold 20 babies up in a row in front of them and let them smell them. And the mom would be able to pick her child. That's the way that I know and understand this pattern of activities. And that's what produces my result. That's what produces it. It's not any of the rest of the stuff. That's what produces the result. Now, if the product breaks down, then it will collapse. If the product has limited appeal, then there will be a limitation to the number of people we can access. But we all need to understand this. This is the biggest possibility in our lives. It's not that it might be. This is the biggest possibility in our lives. Why do I say that? Well, because in 1982, 83, 84, when computerization came along, I didn't see it. My vision was here. I couldn't see that one day every house in the world would have to have one of those boxes on the desk or they'd be left behind. When the internet came along a couple of years later, I did not have the vision to see. I either adopted or I got left behind. That's the moment we're in. None of us have had the opportunity really to participate in a moment like this before. We now have a moment in time where 178,000 people per day are using AI for the first time. Rick Walsh is my friend that's on here with us observing. He's part of your upline, by the way, a great guy and a great leader in this industry. When Rick and I were involved in that project, why was I involved? Because I learned a simple model many years ago that what I really want to do is never compete. I don't want to compete. Why? Because if I'm competing, that means for me to win, you have to lose. And that's not the way that I want to work. I want my success to be born of your success. I do not want my success to come because I won and you lost. That doesn't work for me. And so if I'm competing in a market where every consumer already has a chosen vendor, then the way for me to get that consumer is to take it from that other vendor. But what if it's a first time user? So my world has been, my whole career has been fueled by a simple thought. I read a book called The Age Wave, authored by a guy named Ken Dykewald many, many years ago. And what he was talking about then was positioning myself in front of the ongoing aging of the baby boom generation. And we've kind of moved past that now, but I want to recap it here for you quickly and briefly. And I'm going to ask Blake to talk for a second. Imagine the shape of a football. It's just like the shape of football. That's the baby boom. It starts out with the birth of 1946. It grows and it grows and it peaks out in 1958. It tapers off and it ends in 1964. It's a great big bulge in the American society, American only. It's 1/3 of our entire population. It's about 76 million people. That's the baby boom. Now imagine taking that generation and shoving it into a garden hose. Well, if you take a football and shove it into a garden hose, garden hoses don't accept footballs very well, do they? It would have to grow so much you could no longer recognize it for what it was. So I got involved in the weight loss industry in 1977 when I was 20 years old. Why? I weighed about 135 pounds. There was no thought of me losing weight. Why? Because when we turn 30 years old, our metabolic rate starts slowing down 1% per year for the rest of our lives. When we turn 30 years old, do we become more active or less active? Less. And so we here in America are one of the most obese societies on the planet because our metabolic rate slowed down at the same time that our activity level slowed down. And so starting in 1977, for the next 18 years, 10,000 people per day turned 30 and they started gaining weight. And that created a new customer. I didn't take a customer away from Weight Watchers. I didn't take a customer away from whoever was out there. It was 10,000 people who today determined they wanted to lose weight, 10,000 more than yesterday. And that created my first financial success. That bulging society kept moving forward. 18 years later, the leading edge is turning 50. Well, if I were to ask any of you who are in your 20s, what is your cholesterol? You do not know and you do not care. If I ask somebody who's 55, what is their cholesterol? They know because they started to feel their mortality. And so I had 10,000 people per day realizing that they had elevated cardiac risk and they wanted a cholesterol product that did not cause muscle wasting. Those 10,000 people per day turned into my biggest financial outcome. I made $26 million in the next decade. And I then sold that business for 7 million more. That happened because I did not compete. I, in fact, refused to compete. My next success, once again, fueled by demographics. Blake, who you'll meet in a moment, he was the CEO of a company called Medical Marijuana Incorporated. He guided that company through the end of the prohibition of cannabis. And it was once again demographically driven. The leading edge of the baby boom said, no, this is not like heroin and cocaine. It is not. It stops seizures. It reduces anxiety. There are medicinal benefits. And 10,000 people per day stopped being afraid of cannabis and started to use it. And I made another $10 million. That's what happened. Well, compare that to today, 10,000 people per day having a new desire, a new need. Well, yesterday, 178,000 people used AI for the first time. Today, 178,000 people used AI for the first time. Tomorrow, 178,000 people will use AI for the first time. And we get to be completely non-competitive because we don't have to take a customer for anyone. We get to provide a solution to people for the first time. And isn't it obviously easier to attract a buyer who does not already have a vendor? Of course it does. And that's why none of us should be taking even 1 minute of this for granted, because it won't be like this in 5 years. It will not. In fact, the projections are that 5 years from now, of the population's 8 billion people, 6.5 billion will have a vendor. And now my last thought before I turn this over to Blake is each of you look at your phone. You've all got one there in your hand. When did you last change your provider? When did you last change from AT&T to T-Mobile or from T-Mobile to Verizon? How many times in the last 10 years have you changed phone providers? Most frequently, I talk to people who've had the same phone provider for the last decade, 5 years, 7 years. Why? Because the power of incumbency is so great. If we touch that person who does not have a current vendor, we become the company to which they subscribe. We now have the power of incumbency. Why do you suppose there are term limits in political office? Because it's so much easier to hold the office than to unseat someone, but there is no term limits with your Netflix account. And that's why you're still paying for it month after month, even though you didn't watch a movie last month. And that's why you're still paying for it, even though Hulu came along and all the others. Once you establish the subscription, you have a completely different opportunity to generate income on a long-term basis. So what I want you all to know before I turn it over to Blake is that I use LevAI in my business. I use LevAI as my business, and I use it all day, every day. I start every morning with a simple instant post. And as the young lady described, I don't second guess it. I start it with an instant post. I end my day with a more lengthy post. I use all of the opportunities. Yesterday was an incredible day in the world, and I choose to stay completely non-political because it divides. It doesn't matter what one's politics are. When war stops and people stop getting killed, that's a good thing. And so what happened in Israel yesterday was a really, really good thing. My question is, did you use LevAI to benefit from that? And you say, well, how could I? Well, the way that I did was I wrote a post, and I am not an expert on geopolitical politics, but all I did was ask the long form. I said, what impact in global society does the new peace in the Middle East, what does it provoke? And then it wrote this wonderful, extraordinary thing that was, of course, I didn't give it any indication on there. Am I pro this side or pro that side? Because I'm pro humanity. I'm not pro this side and I'm not pro that side. I am pro humanity. I'm pro kindness. I'm pro generosity and love and all those things. And so it wrote a post consistent with that. And then I posted it in Hebrew. Well, you know what? That made my friends in Israel respond to me. Thank you, Randy. That was very thoughtful. I also posted in Arabic because I have people that are my friends on the other side of that political equation as well. And they commented, Randy, that was thoughtful. Thank you. See, did you do that? And if you didn't, why not? I make a post at least once per day in another language. Why? Because my people who are in Japan, for example, if I write a post in Japanese and I post it on some site in Japan, that will touch those. But what about all my people in America who know very well I don't speak Japanese? Do you not suppose that will create a conversation? Randy, what was that? Why did you post in Japanese? How did you post in Japanese? Anything that makes it possible for us to enter a conversation instead of trying to provoke a conversation is easy. Randy, how did you do that? Why did you do that? Now I'm joining a conversation. My time is spent, folks. I want you to know that I am not just willing, but eager to be as involved in the development of this leadership structure as you want me to be, specifically as Rodney wants me to be. I am eager to be involved in each of your businesses personally to the extent that you want me to be, and to the extent that you are willing to come closer and closer and closer to what I call the center line. I live in the mountains of Utah near a ski resort where it's not infrequent to have 2 or 3 feet of fresh snow out back. And it's been my observation that deer are enormously smarter than human beings. How do I know that? Because if 2 deer are walking through 4 feet of freshly fallen snow, the second deer is exactly in the track of the first deer. He or she knows if I'm 1 foot outside of the track, it's the same as if there was no track. Human beings, on the other hand, they wander back and forth, and every once in a while they happen by accident to be in the track. Get on the track that's been proven to work. Don't second guess it. Don't try to figure out the hows and whys. Just get on the track. Let it be that 5 years from now, I say the best follower I have ever encountered is Pam. I have never met a person so willing to get on the path as Chantel. I have never met a person as willing to follow. And then when the day comes that you can say, you know what, I can do that better than the person I'm following, then that's your moment to break around and break your own path. Until you can do it better than the person you're following, be willing to tame your ego and get in the path. Listen more than you talk, act more than you contemplate, and great things will happen. My time really is spent. Blake, chime in here. I just asked Blake to be here principally because I wanted all of you to know that we place high importance on this. This is the second or third time since I got involved in this company. I asked Blake to do this. So Blake, if you're still there, turn on your video and mic and just comment however you see fit.
Everybody, sorry, Randy asked me to do this while I was driving. Great to be with you. He was coming on Rodney's Zoom. I said, of course, man, I love Rodney. I got to meet him a few weeks ago on our webcast, and man, I loved his spirit and his energy. So here's a couple thoughts, everybody, I'll share with you, and I won't be long. I've been fortunate to lead several companies in our space, and I don't know how long everyone here on the call has been involved or not been involved. But, you've probably been a part of some good companies. My first company was a really phenomenal company that I still love dearly. And here's the funny thing. So we had a great product. So let me ask you a question. Do you think because we had a great product that everybody was massively successful? So why would it be that, some people were obviously massively successful and we had a tremendous product. It was on Dr. Oz and Oprah Winfrey and all this stuff. It was an amazing product. And some people weren't as successful. The reason why a lot of people get caught up in like hype, right? Oh, all I have to do is find the exact right product. And then all I got to do is be at the right place at the right time and bang, I'm just going to strike it rich. And that's not true, everybody. That's not how it works, right? We had a great product. We had lots of people that made a lot of money. We had lots of people that didn't make any money. So here's the interesting thing now about where we are in our space and with LevAI. We have a product. Let me tell you something. If I go back to that first experience, nobody was going to make all that money with a really bad product. They weren't going to, even though they were really, really tremendous salespeople, they weren't going to. We had to have a tremendous product. So here we are. The interesting dynamic is in a sales business, you always have to have a good product. But at the end of the day, there is always a reason why successful salespeople will be successful. And the people that aren't going to be successful aren't going to be successful. And that's because at the end of the day, you are a key component of the product, no matter what. And in this case, it's elevated. Like, I've for the last 18 years, I've run nutritional supplement companies. And I always find it funny, people like they want to put on their white jackets and pretend like they're all PhDs and MDs and explain, all these products to people and how they're amazing for everybody. Right. And I'm like, oh gosh, at the end of the day, yes, they had a great product. The really, really successful people learned how to just be a conduit to the information to deliver a great product to masses of people. They didn't become the experts themselves. Here, we're selling a product that is going, in my view, in my estimation, it's more about you than it ever has been before. That could be good and that could be bad. It totally could be good and it totally could be bad. Here's the thing. I was on the webcast the other night. I don't know how many of you were, and I listened. Randy suggested what one of his goals were with our platform. And he said it. He wants to have, I can't remember how many followers it was, but he said he wanted to have 1 million followers or something like that. Now, that's not outrageous. How many of you all know people that have 1 million followers? Well, maybe not know, but know of, right? Yeah. They're all over. It didn't just happen just because it took some work. Now, listen, Randy's been influential in his career. And I think he said he's got like 15 or 20,000 followers or something like that. Well, that's well shy of 1 million. So his stated objective was, okay, I want to get to 1 million followers. So let me ask you all a question. Do you believe that if Randy had 1 million followers, that his outcome would be better than if he has 15,000 followers? Yes or no? Or raise your hand, whatever you want to do.
Of course.
Right? No question about it, right? I mean, the world's changed so fast. Like, people building these Instagram followings and Facebook followings. And for the longest time, it's like, how are you going to monetize that? Well, people do. So now you have a tool that can make you better inherently. That's a little bit crazy to think about. So here's my question for all of you. We launched the company on November the 17th. That is about 27 days ago. And it's okay, whatever the answer is, guys. How many times have you logged in and have you looked around and have you really understood how to use the tool?
Me many times every day.
See, I would be asking this question to everybody on your team because I'm going to take a wild guess. I think there's lots of people in LevAI that got so excited about AI and they got so excited about a new company and they got so excited about all this stuff. And they never even bothered to log in and see how it can help them profoundly, right? Regardless of Randy's LevAI business, forget about that for 2 seconds. If he uses our tool to build to 1 million followers, well, he will have benefited massively. And I'm telling you right now, there's no way. I'm not trying to disparage Randy. Okay, I know how old I am. I'm 47.
Logging in early so
That
she can
means
promote them to panelists and all this stuff. It's 57.
Okay.
that means he's 67. Okay, it's not like all of a sudden tomorrow he's going to wake up and figure out how to get to 1 million followers without some special tools to do it, right? So this is a tool that will help him. By the way, if he does that, he'll make a killing in LevAI as well. So I know, like, we all have these circles and these communities that we're part of, and I know one community that I try to stay away from is like this whole thing of following the crowd and figuring out what the next shiny object is and just reserving my space, hoping on a prayer and a whim that it will become massively successful for me at some point. How many
Hey,
of you?
Blake, my biggest apologies. At 9 o'clock, this Zoom room, I've got to be in the other one. I'm
All right,
sorry that
we'll
I
wrap it
talked
up.
so long.
So, how many of you have found yourself following those circles of people? If you have, that's okay. We all fall into traps. You've got an incredibly valuable tool in your hand, everybody. Learn how to use it because you can massively benefit a LevAI business as well as just in other ways, massively, massively magnify yourself that will benefit you over time. So, Rod, I want you to become, buddy, you and me, you need to become the dude that knows more about every single feature in LevAI than any other dude. I need to be able to call you and ask you, how does this work? How does that work? How does the other work? And you need to be able to answer me like that if you want to be massively successful. Everybody, it's going to end in 1 minute here. I'm glad to be with you for 2 minutes, and I'll see y'all soon.
Everybody,
Man,
thank you. And I'm
thank you,
sorry, such a
Randy.
gas bag. Blake, thank you so much. Everybody,
Thank you,
thanks.
Randy.
This is red hot, folks. Treat it like it's the most special thing you've ever seen, because it is. God bless you and see you soon. Thank you,
Thank you,
Blake.
guys.
Thank you, Ron.
All right.
Bye-bye.